Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan, and a big shout out to my moderator Peter for once again, for a third time in a row, suggesting that I respond to a crap article that the Daily Mail put out. It's just a flat out attack against veganism, against vegan diets. It's just a bunch of misinformation, misrepresentation, as we'll see, just like the last two videos. I'm sorry I keep responding to these fools. Next week, I'll hopefully have someone else to respond to, but Daily Mail's back at it again. They say, this time, the headline is, oat milk linked to another cancer-causing chemical as people flock back to dairy. Oat milk? Are you serious, Daily Mail? So oat milk causes cancer. Your oat milk latte is trying to kill you, and people are rushing back to drink cow's milk, which has nothing to do with carcinogens in any way, shape, or form. They're running back to that because they're afraid of oat milk? Like, what the hell? Let's see how much crap you can spend, how much complete nonsense you can put into a so-called article about health. So right away, oat milk's health halo is rapidly disappearing. People are ditching it, and experts are recommending against it. So dramatic, but let's notice what's missing. There's no actual numbers that Daily Mail is going to show. There's no studies or numbers to show that oat milk drinkers are sicker than dairy milk drinkers. And these experts they talk about who are recommending against it, it's a complete joke. You would think it'd be like some organizations of health professionals. No, it's some social media influencers and a sole dietitian or registered nutritionist who talks about her own personal practice. So instead of things like numbers, studies, and actual experts, Daily Mail relies solely on vibes and scary language. So what Daily Mail believes is the big smoking gun about how your oat milk latte is going to give you cancer is Roundup, glyphosate, that old Monsanto weed killer product. They say oat milk brands contain a certain weed killer called glyphosate, which has been linked to certain blood cancers. And remind you that though WHO, World Health Organization's cancer agency, calls it probably carcinogenic to humans. That sounds super scary, right? But here's the context that Daily Mail conveniently never explains. What that World Health Organization statement there, it's called a hazard classification. It means in the right situation and dose, glyphosate can cause cancer, not that trace residues in plant milks automatically will. So unlike the hazard classification of the WHO, a national regulator such as the EPA actually does risk assessments on various pesticides. The article even quotes the EPA saying there are no risks of concern to human health when glyphosate is used in accordance with its current label, and glyphosate is unlikely to be a human carcinogen. And all you haters, just put the keyboards down in case you're about to comment how glyphosates are bad and I'm glorifying them. No, far from it. I've never promoted glyphosates or any insecticides or herbicides on this channel. I'm just merely showing what the actual science says, what the actual regulators are saying about it based on their scientific analysis, to show how the Daily Mail is intentionally cherry picking what information they want to put in their article to make it sound like that your oat milk is going to kill you. Then Daily Mail whiplashes back into fear by talking about 250 million pounds sprayed and a study on farmers showing more oxidative stress in people with high occupational exposure like farmers. I mean, that's so disingenuous and so misleading and so Daily Mail, trying to conflate some kind of heavy farmer type of heavy industrial agriculture exposure to glyphosate and other insecticides and pesticides and comparing that to like a tablespoon or two of oat milk you might put in your latte. But it's even worse. Here's the grand slam home run of how disingenuous Daily Mail is. If glyphosates are indeed a problem, and they might be, it's a whole food system problem. It's not just something that goes only on oats. I mean, it's sprayed on even food crops that are used to feed cows that produce dairy. So singling out oat milk is not public health education. It's a targeted hit piece on plant-based milk. They also recycled a previous story they did about emulsifiers in plant-based milks, which some researchers linked to cancer. The actual research they cite is preliminary work from the University of Miami, where emulsifiers at certain doses changed gut inflammation and microbiota in rodents, which might relate to colorectal cancer risk. But that type of preliminary research is just hypothesis-generated research, meaning the researchers found something that might be of concern and they are suggesting future research for future researchers to investigate. But to be clear, this preliminary research has found no evidence to say what happened in rodents is going to happen to humans, and the Daily Mail doesn't care about that distinction. They just want to run with the headline, hey, don't drink oat milk, you're gonna get cancer. And if the concern is that plant-based milks are processed, sometimes ultra-processed, well, then we need to have a conversation about many dairy foods, such as ice creams, coffee creamers, flavored yogurts, cheese spreads. Funny how that comparison never comes up in the Daily Mail article. So as we can clearly see now, and as I strongly suspected before I began research on this video, it is absolutely clear that the Daily Mail has absolutely no evidence-based information, just vibes and just misrepresentation to support their outrageous claim how having oat milk is going to give you cancer. So anyway, the Daily Mail didn't fare well with their scientific evidence. Well, they had one other attack, one other angle to try to convince people, all their readers, that oat milk's going to kill you with cancer. They brought out some leading authorities, some world-class health experts, starting with Gwyneth Paltrow, telling you that she puts a spike of regular milk in her coffee and isn't a fan of plant milks because dairy is supposedly more nutritious. And even worse, a quote holistic nutritioner influencer in LA calling oat milk the worst milk and blaming it for an unhealthy metabolism. Citation needed, influencer. Yes, this is a great example of balanced reporting, just getting some random TikTok influencers and a celebrity. Like, where's maybe a plant-based scientist, a plant-based registered dietitian or nutritionist? No, just bring out some anti-oat milk mood board to make people feel good about drinking dairy. And the only credentialed health professional type person that Daily Mail even talked to was a registered dietitian, and she says she tends to steer her clients away from oat milk if they tolerate dairy or other plant milks. Oh, okay, that is really good to know. Thank you for telling me what this random dietitian does in her personal practice. That's so convincing. So no, your oat milk latte is not linked to another cancer-causing chemical as its headline wants you to believe. It is linked, though, to a crappy tabloid-based business model that monetizes fear, cherry-picks influencers, and targets plant-based diets and veganism whenever it can. So if any of you guys out there see any more hit pieces like this on plant-based diets, drop a comment and link to them, or at least give me their title down in the comments, because stuff like this is going to be writing the scripts for me for the rest of the year, it looks like. But if anyone at this point still remains unconvinced by what I said here and still thinks that the Daily Mail is speaking truth when they say like oat lattes are going to kill you, please come to my Friday live stream, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and explain to me how evidence-based information actually has no impact on you whatsoever as long as you receive cherry-picked information that confirms your existing biases. That makes you feel good. Tell me about that. I'd love to hear about your psychology there. So anyway, guys, I'll see you guys Friday, 6 p.m. Remember, doesn't suck being vegan.